All I can say is that I am extremely impressed with both of these hearing aids. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm doing a comparison between the Oticon Intent and the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids to find out which one is best. The Oticon Intent hearing aid has been a very popular hearing aid ever since its initial release in February of 2024. But the same is true about the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aid that was released 8 months later in October of 2024. Both of these hearing aids are very similar when it comes to their digital signal processing strategy using a deep neural network, but there are several key differences between both of them that might make one of them better for you. I do have separate detailed review videos for each of these hearing aids discussing both the pros and the cons of these devices, so if you want to check those out as well, I will have them linked in the description. It's important to note that both of these hearing aids are fantastic, but neither one of them is very good unless you've had them fit and programmed by a hearing care professional who follows best practices. Best practices are a series of considerations and procedures that must be used by your hearing care professional in order for you to receive the maximum amount of benefit from each of these hearing aids. And finding one of these providers can be extremely difficult. However, if you would like an easy way to find one of these hearing care professionals that follows best practices, I highly recommend that you check out my website, hearingup.com, and find a Hearing Up Network member in your area. Hearing Up members have been vetted and are committed to following comprehensive audiologic best practices so you can hear your absolute best no matter which one of these hearing aids you choose to use. Now, before I get into the comparison of these two different hearing aids, do me a huge favor and click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It is greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, let me know down in the comments section which one of these hearing aids you actually think is best. Let's go ahead and start this comparison looking at the different form factors and technology levels available for the Oticon Intent and the Starkey Edge Ai. The Oticon Intent only comes in one form factor. You have a rechargeable receiver in canal style. However, this hearing aid comes in 4 different technology levels: level 1, 2, 3, and 4, with level 1 being their premium offering. The Starkey Edge Ai, on the other hand, comes in several different form factors. You have the rechargeable receiver in canal styles, including the MRIC and the RIC RT, as well as their disposable battery receiver in canal option, the RIC 312. And you even have custom rechargeable options, including a full shell, half shell, and in the canal option, as well as a disposable battery custom option that is wireless. The Edge Ai devices come in 3 different technology levels. You have level 24, level 20, and level 16, with level 24 being their premium offering. Just remember, each time that you drop down in technology level, it takes features and customizations away from your hearing care professional when they're attempting to optimize the performance of these devices for you. So technically speaking, Oticon having one additional technology level, it means that you may be able to get the Oticon Intent at a lower price point, but it will be defeatured more than what you can get with the lowest technology level of the Starkey Edge Ai. When it comes to rechargeability, the Oticon Intent hearing aid uses a lithium-ion rechargeable battery, and it uses contact charging with the charger. It does not use inductive charging anymore. Some people don't like that they switched from inductive charging into contact charging, but this has allowed the Oticon Intent to charge very quickly. You can get up to 20 hours of battery life on a 2-hour charge. They do have 2 different charger options. They have the desktop charger that you're looking at right here. This one does not have an internal power bank, but they also have their smart charger that does have an internal power bank, so you can charge your hearing aids on the go. As you know, Starkey has rechargeable and non-rechargeable options for the batteries, but the rechargeable options are some of the best ones out there on the market when it comes to battery life. The smaller MRIC version of this hearing aid gets you up to 41 hours of battery life on a single charge, but the RIC RT larger version gets you up to 51 hours of battery life on a single charge. And the custom models get you up to 42 hours of battery life. You also have 2 different charger options with the Starkey devices. This one right here is their Starlink Charger 2.0. This is the one that does not have an internal power bank, but you can also get the premium version of this charger for an additional upcharge. That premium version does have an internal power bank, so you can also charge your Starkeys on the go. When it comes to the size differences between these 2 hearing aids, the Oticon Intent hearing aids come in one size, which is really small. Let me go ahead and show you that on the camera. I will also show you these devices compared in a photo here, but let me go ahead and put them on my ears. I'm going to put the Oticon Intent into my right ear, and I am going to put the Starkey Edge Ai, the MRIC version, which is equivalent in size roughly to the Oticon Intent. I'm going to put this one into my left ear so you guys can have somewhat of a comparison of these. This is essentially what they look like from the front. This is with glasses off. And then when you slide glasses on, you can see if it pushes my ears out at all. But let me go ahead and spin to my right so you can see the Starkey Edge Ai Emric on the back of my left ear. And let me spin a little bit more. So here on my right ear, you can see the Oticon Intent and what that actually looks like. I'll give you a side view here as well of the Oticon Intent, and I'll spin back the other way to give you a side view of the Starkey Edge Ai Emric device. Now, from a comparison standpoint, the Oticon Intent does have a telecoil inside of it, so it takes a little bit more space inside of this hearing aid. The Emric version of this hearing aid does not have a telecoil. So if we're going to compare the size of the one that does, I'm going to go ahead and put in the RIC RT version into my left ear. So if you want a telecoil inside of your hearing aid, this is what the comparison would look like. Again, Starkey Edge Ai, RIC RT on my left ear, and then you have the Oticon Intent on my right ear. Hopefully you guys got a good shot of both. In terms of how they feel very similar behind my ears, and that includes whether I'm wearing the larger version of the RIC RT or the Emric version behind my ear compared to the Oticon Intent that only comes in that one size. The biggest difference I would note on these devices is that as I'm wearing them, I do not need a retention filament on the Oticon hearing aid for it to stay inside of my ear. I do need to use a retention filament though on the Starkey Edge Ai. Okay, so when it comes to durability, both of these hearing aids have gotten really good. The Oticon Intent has an IP68 rating, which is high as the rating scale will go, and they've put these hearing aids through a ton of durability testing. After nearly a year of fitting patients with the Oticon Intent hearing aids, I have yet to have any of these devices come back due to reliability issues. Now, the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids are actually given an IP68 plus rating, which means that they greatly exceed the standard IP68 rating scale. This is due to their new Pro 8 HydroShield technology with 8 protective layers. However, given that these hearing aids are so new on the market, I do not have a long track record like I do with the Oticon Intent to see how reliable these devices really are. As far as the fitting ranges of these two hearing aids, they are very similar. Both the Oticon Intent and Starkey Edge Ai devices can fit anything between a mild level hearing loss all the way up to a profound level hearing loss. The Intent has their 60 decibel receivers, 85 decibel receivers, as well as their 100 and 105 decibel receivers. The Edge Ai has their low, medium, power, and ultra power receivers. I will say that both of these hearing aids perform much better if you're using their custom ear molds for anything more than a moderately severe level of hearing loss. In fact, if you're using the 105 decibel receivers or the ultra power receivers with each of these devices, you have to use a custom ear mold. I will say that both of these manufacturers do a really good job of making custom ear molds. You have the Oticon microshell ear molds and you have the Starkey Absolute Power ear molds. As far as the precision of programming, the Oticon Intent 1 hearing aids give you 24 different adjustment bands to customize the audio to your hearing loss prescription. Of course, the amount of these bands does decrease each time you drop down in technology level. That's why you should be going with a higher level of technology if you want more customizability. Now, the same is true for the Starkey Edge Ai. It also gives you 24 different adjustment bands for customization in their top tier technology level, but it does drop all the way down to 16 adjustment bands on their third tier technology. In my experience, both of these hearing aids are really good when it comes to customization, but if I had to say that one was slightly better than the other, I would say the Oticon Intents are a little bit more precise when matching prescriptive targets. Both of these hearing aids are also pretty comparable when it comes to digital features inside of the programming software for things like wind control, noise reduction, and impulse noise reduction. As far as sound processing goes, the Oticon Intent and the Starkey Edge Ai devices both use a deep neural network. Now, if you do not know what a deep neural network is yet, you gotta get with it here and check out this video that I will have linked in the description, because this is totally revolutionizing the way that hearing aids are processing sound. Essentially, a deep neural network uses artificial intelligence to identify what characteristics of sound make speech speech and noise noise, so it can separate the two. Oticon was the first hearing aid manufacturer to start using a deep neural network trained hearing aid back in 2021 with the release of their Oticon More devices. Now the Oticon Intent is actually using their deep neural network version 2.0 because it has been trained with more sound samples and the outputs have been refined. The deep learning that was obtained through this deep neural network training was embedded inside of the main chip of the Oticon devices. devices. This way it is always active, so you never have to worry about switching into a different program to use it. Oticon combines this benefit that you get from the deep neural network with their new 4D sensor. This improves the performance of the Oticon Intent hearing aids by taking your body movements into account. All combined, the Oticon Intent hearing aids are capable of getting you up to 11 decibels of signal-to-noise ratio improvement with up to 12 decibels of noise reduction in their top-tier technology level. Now, the Starkey Edge Ai also uses a deep neural network that was integrated inside of their main chip. However, to get the benefit of the deep neural network using the Edge Ai, you have to activate Edge Mode Plus, which you can do either on the hearing aid, through your smartphone app, or through your Apple Watch. However, once you do, you can get between 10 and 13 decibels of signal-to-noise ratio improvement depending on your listening environment. Of course, one of the biggest advantages of using a deep neural network trained hearing aid is your performance in background noise. When comparing performance in background noise situations, I like to refer to HearAdvisor, which is an independent hearing aid testing lab. Both the Oticon Intents and the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids received a sound grade of A. However, the Oticon Intents performed significantly better in speech and noise testing with a score of 3.7. This ranks the Oticon Intent number 2 out of all hearing aids that HearAdvisor has tested, versus the Edge AI score of only 2.6, which does not rank this hearing aid on the leaderboard. Now, this is largely due to the fact that when HearAdvisor is doing this speech and noise testing, they're leaving these hearing aids on their automatic settings. And with the Oticon Intent, the automatic setting is always using the deep neural network training. But with the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids, in order to use the deep neural network, you have to enter into Edge Mode Plus, which is not something that HearAdvisor did for this testing. I do expect HearAdvisor to do an update of this testing in Edge Mode Plus at some point in the future, so make sure that you stay tuned to the channel. I should also note that both of these hearing aids perform substantially better when real ear measurement was performed on them. Real ear measurement is essentially the way that we verify that a hearing aid has been programmed properly to your hearing loss prescription, and if it hasn't had real ear measurement performed on these devices, you tend to significantly underperform. The most dramatic difference was that the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids only had a speech and noise score of 1.5 when real ear measurement was not completed. The moral of the story is that both of these hearing aids perform really well when your hearing care professional follows best practices like using real ear measurement, and both of them perform not very well if they don't. Now, if you're looking for a way to significantly improve your ability to under speech in a background noise situation on top of what you would get from just new hearing aids alone, I highly recommend that you check out Lace AI Pro. Lace AI Pro is an auditory training program that is like doing physical therapy for your ears. Depending on your level of hearing loss, Lace AI Pro has been proven to give you up to a 6 decibel improvement in signal-to-noise ratio when in a background noise situation. That is roughly equivalent to a 60% improvement in hearing when you're in a noisy environment. Lace is backed by over 20 years of use and over 80 different research studies to validate its performance. To get Lace AI Pro, all you have to do is purchase a lifetime license, but don't worry, if you're a Dr. Cliff channel subscriber, I do have a discount code down in the description as well as a link for you to download the app yourself. As far as connectivity goes, both the Oticon Intent and the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids got a significant upgrade to Bluetooth LE audio and Auracast. However, both of these hearing aids use multiple different forms of Bluetooth connectivity in addition to the LE audio protocol. You have the Asha Bluetooth protocol for Android devices and the Made for iPhone Bluetooth Low Energy protocol for iPhones and iPads. However, neither one of these different devices use Bluetooth Classic, which means you're going to be a little restricted when you're trying to connect to a desktop computer or a laptop computer. In those cases, you may need to use an accessory. Now, I will say that I was successful in connecting my Oticon Intent hearing aids with my Samsung Galaxy S23 phone using LE Audio Bluetooth, but I was not successful connecting with the Starkey Edge AI devices. Generally speaking, I would say that connectivity is a little bit better with the Oticon Intents, although it is not perfect. I do expect both of these hearing aids to get firmware updates at some point in the future to improve this connectivity, but the biggest limiter with Bluetooth LE Audio is other wireless devices actually having LE Audio. A few other little notes when it comes to connectivity. I'm going to throw in the telecoil here as well as a cross transmitter. Like I said, you do get a telecoil inside of the Oticon Intents, and you do get a telecoil inside of the RIC RT and the RIC 312 versions of the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aid. And when it comes to a cross transmitter, you do have compatibility with the Cross PX from Oticon, which is a different form factor, which is kind of weird actually, but you do get a cross transmitter as well with the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids if you're using the RIC 312 or the RIC RT. Now I want to briefly compare the audio streaming sound quality of both of these hearing aids. Like you heard me mention a little bit earlier, Bluetooth LE audio does significantly improve streaming sound quality, but the level of customizability of streaming is a little bit different for these hearing aids. For the Oticon Intense, it is extremely limited, meaning when you program these hearing aids, that first program that you have, that is the general program settings that you have for streaming. Then you have a separate adjustment that you can do to increase or decrease the high frequencies, increase a little bit more bass, but generally speaking, it's pretty limited. At least Starkey has a customizable streaming program for you, so your hearing care professional can break up your frequency range into different bands and make more precise adjustments, but they do not let you customize it differently for streaming media for music and streaming media for speech. However, overall, Starkey does give you some more customizability when it comes to this. When it comes to the wireless accessories that you use for these, you can customize that streaming audio sound quality a little bit more with both of them as well. Now, since we're talking about connectivity and customizing of streaming audio sound quality, we really should be slotting in all the different accessories that you have access to for both of these hearing aids. The Oticon Intent is compatible with their Connect clip, the remote control, the TV adapter 3.0, the phone adapter 2.0, and their Edge Ai mic. This is a nice, well-rounded offering from Oticon from an accessory standpoint. Some of these are a little bit on the older side. I would like to see an upgrade in these wireless devices, and none of them use LE audio yet, which means that they also do not have access to Auracast for you to share the audio from these accessories either. The Starkey Edge Ai does have some newer accessories, but they only have two. We have the Starlink Edge TV streamer and the remote control 2.0. I'm really surprised that Starkey did not release a remote microphone with their Edge Ai hearing aids, but hopefully they'll be releasing one at some point in the future. I will say though that the Starlink Edge TV streamer does use Auracast, which means that not only can you stream audio directly from the TV into your Edge Ai hearing aids, you can also share that audio with someone else who has Auracast enabled devices, whether it's hearing aids, earbuds, or headphones. All right, let's go ahead and briefly talk about the smartphone apps available for these two devices. The Oticon Intent uses their Oticon Companion app, which allows you to change between different programs, adjust volume levels, adjust a 3-band equalizer for live speech or separately for streaming audio. You can find your lost hearing aids and engage in remote care sessions with your hearing care professional. You cannot create new custom programs inside of the Companion app for the Oticon Intent hearing aids, but it is compatible with an Apple Watch, so you can make some quick adjustments right from your wrist. Of course, this does require that you use these hearing aids with an Apple phone. I do expect that Oticon will be releasing more updates inside of their Companion app in the future, so maybe at some point you'll get the ability to customize different programs for yourself. The Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids, on the other hand, have one of the most feature-rich apps on the market right now with their My Starkey app and their HearShare app. This means that you can do pretty much everything that I just mentioned with the Oticon Intent hearing aids, but a few additional features as well. The My Starkey app also includes health data tracking, language translation and transcription services, fall detection, a hearing aid self-check feature, and a balance assessment feature using the Steady protocol. Just like the Oticon Intent, the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids are also compatible with an Apple Watch if you want to make some manipulation to your devices without having to break out your phone. The HearShare app allows you to share usage and activity data with people that you designate, like a friend or family member, if you want to have a good second set of eyes on your overall hearing treatment. And there you go. There is your direct comparison between the Oticon Intent hearing aids and the Starkey Edge Ai hearing aids. And like you heard me mention a little bit earlier, both of these hearing aids are extremely impressive. It is no wonder why these hearing aids are considered some of the best that you can get right now. Of course, one of these hearing aids is probably better for you than the other one is, depending on what your wants and needs are. However, no matter which one of these hearing aids is best for you, you're only going to get the full amount of benefit out of them if you go to a hearing care professional who follows comprehensive audiologic best practices to maximize the performance for you. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting yourself a fantastic pair of hearing aids, but you're not going to get the full amount of benefit. But as long as you take the time to identify what your specific wants and needs are, and then you match those up with either one of these hearing aids, you are virtually guaranteed to get the best hearing aid for you.